Hello, everyone. It's me. Today, we are going to talk about Pride and Prejudice. If you would like to read along with me, the ebook is provided free of charge. I know it was written a long time ago. It is still very popular today. The story is set in England and is about love, marriage, social class, and society's expectations of women in the early 1800s. This is shown through the actions of both Elizabeth and Darcy. At the beginning of the story, they both have a very high opinion of themselves, and they do not think that they could ever be together because of their differences. This is shown through the way that characters like Darcy and Bingley are attracted to Elizabeth, even though she is of a lower social class. It also shows how characters like Lady Catherine de Bourgh try to keep Elizabeth and Darcy apart because of their different social classes. In this story, there is a clear division between the upper class and the middle class. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. The upper class characters are seen as being more refined and elegant, while the middle class characters are seen as being vulgar and However, as the story progresses, this division begins to break down. Elizabeth and Darcy fall in love despite their different social classes, and characters like Charlotte Lucas, who is a middle-class woman, are able to find happiness in unlikely places. However, as the story progresses, they learn to overcome their pride, and they realize that they are wrong about each other. They're expected to be pretty and charming, and also to be subservient to men. However, Elizabeth is a strong-willed woman who does not want to be subservient to anyone. She is also not interested in marrying someone just for financial security. This makes her different from the other female characters in this story, and it also makes her a stronger and more interesting character. Elizabeth learns that Darcy is not as arrogant as she thought he was, and Darcy learns that he cannot judge Elizabeth based on her social status. At the beginning of the story, they do not like each other at all, and they are very different from each other. However, as the story progresses, they begin to understand each other better, and they develop a deep love for each other. I also like the way that the story shows how Pride and Prejudice can be destructive, but also how they can be overcome. You can find the link in the description below. Let's get started. So, Pride and Prejudice was written by Jane Austen and first published in 1813. It is probably one of the most famous love stories ever written. The story is about Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. They meet for the first time at a party, and they don't like each other at all. Elizabeth believes that he is arrogant and proud, and Darcy thinks she is beneath him because of her family's lower social status. But over time, they begin to understand each other better and they fall in love. For example, Darcy's friend Bingley is prejudiced against Elizabeth's family because of their lower social status. He believes that they are not good enough for his friend, which causes problems in their relationship. Another example of prejudice is shown when Elizabeth's sister Catherine goes to stay with a wealthy family. The family treats her very well because she is young and pretty, and they think that she can bring them social status. However, once Catherine is no longer young and pretty, they treat her very badly. This shows that the family is prejudiced against Catherine because she does not fit into their social standards of beauty. There are many themes in Pride and Prejudice, but one of the most important is definitely pride. Another important theme is prejudice. This is shown through the way that other characters in the story treat Elizabeth and her family. A third important theme is social class. Another theme is the role of women in society. This is shown through the way that female characters like Elizabeth and Catherine are expected to behave in order to be considered marriageable. One of the things that I like best about this story is the development of the relationship between Elizabeth and Darcy. If you like this story, I think you will also like other stories by Jane Austen, such as Sense and Sensibility and Emma.